HR Success Talk has started its journey in 2012 with a vision to bring HR and business leaders together in a form of a community to share knowledge and learn from each other. Starting from a single blog, we reached our first initiative called Forum to give a bigger platform to HR professionals to collaborate with each other. Later, we realized that we need to connect our members in person along with online. Hence, we launched our vertical called HR String Meets, under which we organize HR conferences and meetups where we invite HR and business leaders to talk about best practices in HR and business in different industries. HR String Meets also became a platform for our members to network with each other. We continued and also launched our online assessment vertical, which helps professionals at different levels in their career to learn and get a certificate in a specified field in HR. These assessments and certifications help HR professionals to find jobs or advancement in their career. HR Success Talk has leveraged technology while building the community. Our YouTube channel is focused on providing online videos or diverse different topics for benefits of our members. We can find video study material on topics like talent acquisition, HR generalist, HR analytics, learning and development, labor laws, and many more. During pandemic, we launched our webinar vertical. Again, with the use of the technology, we continued our mission of sharing and learning from each other. We touched thousands of lives across the globe and shared knowledge which was meaningful for our members. In HR Success Talk, we believe in recognizing and appreciating the contribution of HR and business leaders in their field, which is equally important. Hence, we launched our award vertical to provide a platform to professionals to give an opportunity to showcase their contribution and get recognized for it. We believe in fairness and capability. Hence, our jury and selection process is built in such a way that it provides opportunity to those who really deserve it. HR Success Talk has a very good presence on multiple social media platforms and other communication channels like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Twitter. You can also visit our website www.hrsuccesstalk.com to read some interesting blog by our HR bloggers on trending topics and issues. We are a huge community with global presence in multiple countries and thousands members and growing every month. We provide a platform to our members where they can learn from each other, can share their knowledge, and knowledge for others' benefit, build relationships and networking, and leverage this networking in any way they feel like. We have so many stories where our volunteers have leveraged this platform to find jobs, get new business opportunities, find a mentor to guide. It is up to them how they wish to leverage and use our platform. And guess what? You don't have to pay a fees to be a member or fill any form. You can be a member by click of a button by liking our Facebook, LinkedIn page, or any other social media channel. Simple, isn't it? You must be wondering how we manage all this. Yes, you guessed it right. We have a force of highly talented volunteers who spend 3 to 5 hours every week of their time for this community. We also invest highly on the development of our volunteers, and our HR team organize exclusive training sessions for them. Some of them have started as volunteers, and today they are playing the leadership role in this community. If you also have the zeal and passion to serve the HR community and time to contribute, you can send your resume at info@hrsuccesstalk.com to be our volunteer. Our talent team will be in touch with you. For us, this is just the beginning. You can either choose to be part of the journey or watch it from a distance. Let's learn and share together.
Hello, everyone. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon here in Dubai, and we are back with another episode of Edge Talk series powered by HR Success Talk. I'm Shivani Deshpande, your host for today. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today on our live stream. Experience, development, growth, and engagement. This is what ED stands for. We bring to you business stories and insights from different worlds of businessmen through which you can learn and enhance your career. You can also call EDGE your HR dictionary. As quoted by Steve Jobs, the secret of my success is that we have gone to exceptional lengths to hire the best talent throughout the world. Probably this is exactly what most of us employers are doing it or would like to do. To hire or to not hire? This is a very big question that all of us are wondering about. To give us more valuable thoughts, we have one of our esteemed special guests with us. Today, we will be speaking about attracting and retaining talent amidst tough job market. Please join me in welcoming Ms. KAVITA NAIR. Ms. KAVITA is a postgraduate from Pune University and is currently pursuing Level 7 qualification for CIPT. She has about 16 years of work experience in the field of human resources across various industries like IT, manufacturing, project-based industries, hospitality, BPO, and so many more. Currently, she is associated with Desert Control Middle East LLC and is holding the responsibility of HR business partner. Ms. KAVITA is a very driven and energetic professional with a record of successfully executing and supporting critical HR initiatives. She has strengths in developing and implementing innovative strategies and policies for the organization. Experienced in providing guidance to senior managers and the board of directors. She is also efficient in finding solutions to improve productivity, strive to increase employee retention, develop HR strategies, and develop each and everyone's internal career path. She is also currently working on creating an academy for her current organization for catering internal training and career paths. I have also been privileged to have worked with her on several recruitment projects. So welcome, KAVITA, and thank you so much for being with us here today, giving us your time. And I'm sure as much as I'm excited for this conversation, our viewers are also. So over to you, and please tell us how your journey has been so far.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you so much for this, I think, a very big introduction. You've already introduced me, and the journey so far with HR has been like a tremendous, engaging, knowledge sharing, learning. So there are a lot of things associated to that never ends in HR. So the journey is still continuing, still learning, still on the process. That's what I can say in terms of journey.
Absolutely. Every day is a new day, and every day is either a learning or a lesson, as we call it.
Exactly.
Amazing. So we thought that you are definitely the right person to speak about the current ongoing hiring, firing, and freezing scenario. So let me just jump to my first question to you, which is quite basic, but it's the most talked question. hiring scenario has drastically changed post-pandemic. Do you think it has? And if yes, how?
Yes, definitely, Shivani. If I have to consider what was happening pre-pandemic, it was totally different, right? The interviews were like on the table that you have to meet the person, you have to see the person, you have to physically be in touch with the person, and those processes were set. There was a set traditional mindset of having the recruitments pre-pandemic, but obviously post-pandemic, it's gone totally digital. We can say there are a lot of changes when it is coming to hiring of talents, because people are now focusing on remote work areas, remote workplaces. Then there are like digital interviews that are going. So technology has taken the first stand, that if we have to say. So there is a lot of changes when it is also coming to like freelancing. So there you can see that a lot of freelancers and who's now coping up with the industry. And I think it's more than 36% of freelancers, if we can see, that's available in the market. Talent pool has definitely increased. So varied skill set, and specifically going technology and digitally alert, everybody has got that aspect of, oh, so we can have a Zoom interview now. So initially it was like a Zoom interview. Oh, no, we don't want to have a Zoom interview. We want to have a face-to-face interview. And now it is like, no, okay, fine, let's have a Zoom interview. So everything is so digital post-pandemic that the changes is visible very drastically everywhere. So yes, even in terms of remote work areas.
Absolutely. I think initially, when we look at the traditional HR perspective, an in-person presence was very important. But now it seems like even for the most important positions of your company, you're okay to just connect virtually. And possibly us HRs have learned the knack of knowing each other just in the first half. You don't have to look at an entire person.
Perfectly. You just connect with the person through webinars, through video conferencing, through Zoom links, you name it, and it is there in the market right now. Explore it, understand. And yes, if you select the candidate, probably that will be the last stage of personally meeting the candidate.
Absolutely. Which brings me to my next question. What are the major challenges faced by corporates and MNCs throughout this process? And how do you think one can possibly address those challenges?
Ideally, the challenges that is being faced is during this entire process, nobody is physically meeting any candidate during this entire tenure, because it's Zoom interview given the pandemic situation, even though they say it's a normalization phase right now, but still the fear of that particular pandemic is still in the process. So yes, if I have to talk about the challenges that MNCs or any companies or any organization for that matter is facing, is the turn down of employees. Because it happens that, when you get into the recruitment process, you are investing time, the candidate is investing time, then there is a panel that invests time in them. And then one fine day when everything is fine and it's going to be closed, it's like, oh, you know what? I don't want to join. You know what? I have this new opportunity. So then, yeah, that takes a setback. So that is one major challenge that the companies are facing. Another challenge is sometimes the offer is extended to the candidates, and it sometimes happens that, they renegotiate the offer to a particular level, which is probably not the salary bracket of the company at that given point in time. But that again faces a lot of problem, because then it contains a dissatisfaction when it is coming to salary, and then there is again dropouts of that. Couple of places, if we have to see, there is hiring that goes totally wrong, because when it is a Zoom interview, even you would agree, Shivani, it's very difficult to analyze the behavior of a person. Like, when you meet them personally, the person is totally different, but when it is online, it is totally different. And that creates a big issue, because when you hire the person, and if the person is not the right person that you're looking for, then yes, that can be a trigger also. So these are the major challenges that I think most of the companies, when it is coming to hiring good talents, they are facing. There are a lot of proxies that happen also, which is again another issue that comes up, because we really don't know times, because sometimes when it is Zoom interviews, so the candidate just say that my camera is not working, or some or the other issue. So we are not able to connect if it's the same
Right.
person we're talking to. So
Absolutely.
these are a couple of issues which I really feel is a big challenge nowadays.
Absolutely. Very well put out, Kavita, because it really doesn't matter if this is concern, like HR's concern. It could be anybody's concern. Anybody who has a team, I think it's everybody's concern out there. So thank you for putting out the points. Coming to my next one, probably you might want to give us an elongated version of this. What pointers would you suggest for employers to retain employees with pocket-friendly budgets? Post-pandemic, everyone's speaking of pocket-friendly budgets. So that, and how do you think employees can at the same time upskill themselves to maintain their position and not go in the spot where they could be taken off the company?
That's a very good question. So how much pocket sizing have you done in your organization?
Well, no comments on that. But then I'm sure even if it's an SME, an MNC, even if it's an individual startup, I think everybody is thinking of the budgets. And what is your take on that? How can both the sides work it out?
Definitely, Shivani, when it is coming to budgets in terms of organization, it is really nowadays a very tight scenario that we can consider, because the pandemic scenario has left such an impact still on the organization that it is still recovering, many of the organization, apart from definitely the big giants, but I think even they are facing the problems as well. But if you ask for a normal, an organization or say a startup or a scale up or a semi scale up or whatever you have to call, yes, the basic pointers, when it is coming to retaining candidate, is we need to think about the wellness, because candidates nowadays are very much concerned about what's happening around, and they really want themselves to be felt safe, secure when entering in a workplace. So definitely for retaining employees nowadays, we have to concentrate on the wellness part of it. We need to think about the career enhancement path for each individuals, because given the fact that it's a normal open market now, the market is picking up. There are a lot of job opportunities. Plus, there are not much job opportunities for certain skill set. So internally, when it is coming to encourage the employees or the staff, when it is coming to enhance their skill set, enhance their skill development, and get up to a next level, that can be one of the sources of retaining employees. Second, the third of all, it can be wherein you recognize their small milestones, because people are always not running behind any monetary stuff. It is sometimes recognizing even a small milestone that gives the boost to the employee, like, oh yeah, I've been recognized for something. So, they tend to have that feel in them. And definitely when it is coming from the employee perspective, they need to be accountable for what they are doing. They need to have that set right attitude when it is coming to actually executing the work, when a responsibility is given to them. And also, even though the organization is giving them a blanket platform of, increasing their career, developing themselves, they need to also put in their efforts to actually get onto that ladder and start climbing, because somebody is keeping the ladder and you're just looking at the ladder, you can't climb it. So you really need to start climbing the ladder. So definitely these couple of things put together, I think both way can be a win-win situation.
Absolutely. Like you rightly said, I think this not only goes for the middle level management, a junior level management, but it starts from the start till the end. So even with the C levels, we could still use the same strategies in a way.
Yes, definitely. The only point over here, Shivani, that it would be like, when it is coming to the level where, it's the lowest level, or the freshers that are coming up into the system, they really need to be hand-holded to come up to that level, because sometimes they lose interest. Like, oh, I think nothing is happening over here. You know what? We need to move on. Rather than trying to figure out, like they have come into an organization, so it's just a start for them. So how are they going to climb up? What is it in for them? So definitely nobody can judge an organization within a year's time. I think we have got a lot of things to learn every day. So
Right.
that takes a toll on, when it is coming to actually retaining the employees, because we do not want to give that long-term commitments, which
Commitment.
psychologically understandable. Yeah, but then ideally from a recruiter or HR perspective, it's like not okay.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. You hit the chord. So thank you so much for wonderfully putting it together for us. I'm sure probably most of us have made notes for the strategies which can be revamped in the coming quarter. Coming to a little different topic here. Recently, we have been hearing a lot that companies are also freezing hiring. There have been situations where the offer letters are out, but suddenly the companies have frozen their hiring or anything related to recruitment. Why do you think companies are taking such a call, probably last minute? Do you think there's some crux to it?
Ideally, Shivani, what happens is specifically after post-pandemic, there has been a lot of strategy changes within the organization. So if you see, before the pandemic, there was like, oh, you know what, I have like 10 positions down the line, so we need to start hiring. And then suddenly this COVID-19 comes from nowhere, and then everything is at a standstill. So the strategy that was designed at that point in time is still there. So it's up to the organization when they have come down from the pandemic, when it is coming to the normalization, and then people and organization all together are trying to revamp or revisit the strategy to actually check whether we really need these particular positions. Is there a possibility of internal mobility, because that becomes a very critical issue, specifically when it is coming to engaging employees or retaining employees.
Absolutely.
So when you engage them and put them into a next level with some responsibility, at least rest assured there is some employee engagement. He's getting additional responsibilities. He's willing to do that additional responsibilities, and he will put his 100% to give that productivity. So what happens is when such a decision has come up, or internally when certain discussions and strategies for eradicating a particular position so that an existing employee can take over that position, that's when the freezing concept probably comes up. Because ideally, if you see, it makes no sense if you're hiring a candidate on board and you actually have no work for the candidate.
Right.
So it would be like you will have to lay off that candidate going forward couple of months, a year, and that won't be good on the face or the branding or the image of the company or any organization. So it is always better that companies revisit their strategies as to, okay, what is the manpower available? How is it that we can, execute within the available manpower, or do we have to really source out something?
Like a quick need analysis.
Exactly. The analysis is what would actually come out whether you want to really freeze the position or go ahead with the position. So it's not that the companies want to freeze it, but it makes a lot more sense rather than laying off a candidate to right now hold the position, reanalyze, revisit, re-strategize, and then thereafter come up with a solution of whether we really want or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think need analysis, succession planning could possibly be the reasons behind avoiding freezing of hiring as well. In that
exactly. If you also see that many of the companies, they have got a good career path, like when you're at a particular grading system, like you have at 1, then you have a career path to go to 2, go to 3, go to 4.
Right.
So this path is then defining the skill set of the employee as well. So might be that person is more okay or more reliable or more in need of that particular responsibility because it's monotonous in his current job and he wants something exciting. So this can be a good, push for these candidates, along with certain, cost saving even for the company at that point in time, because definitely that if you go in for recruitment, the entire cycle costs a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's another investment for the company. Plus, if you're speaking of big numbers, indeed you have to make sure you're taking only the number that is required at that point.
Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for those insights. All of us have heard about the Great Resignation. And we dread that also as employees.
Yes, yes.
But there is another term that has come out, which is the Great Renegotiation. So what are your thoughts on that? And if you can possibly begin by just explaining in basic what the terms are, and then what are your thoughts on it, so our viewers will get an idea.
Sure. Initially, if you see pre-pandemic, there was this traditional way of approaching the candidates. Like we had job title, we had the said compensation, we had all the brackets that we want to put, the benefits associated to that, and that used to be the attractive factor when it was coming to any recruiting. Okay, the benefits are good. Oh, they are giving this also. Oh, they are giving that also. So it was like something where, obviously people do work for salaries, let's be honest enough. So that is one of the key factors. There are many, I can say there are very less people who would be actually interested in what is the challenge that I'm getting, or what is the exact job role that I'm going to venture into, rather than just having the monetary benefits. This was the initial traditional approach that we were having, where you might have also faced a situation where people are just turning down because they're getting some other benefits very good elsewhere. So definitely that was coming down at that point in time. But now if you see, during the pandemic, people have learned life, if I have to put it that way.
Right, absolutely, very well put.
Including you, including me, we learned life. We learned to live with what we had, rather than running after stuff and trying to figure out, oh, I need this, or this is my retirement plan. Oh, you know what, I need to save for this. But when the pandemic hit, everything was like in a nutshell, in a funnel, and you have to actually sit down and think, oh, okay, wait, I have this investment, I need to do this, but I have to run. So considering all of this, now if you see, the paradigm shift has been to a concept wherein, like, oh, I need a job, but I need my work-life balance, but I need the flexibility to work. I work very well when I'm sitting in some workplace or a cafe or in a beach at my convenience, though I'm giving the productivity. These are certain concepts which these millennials have come up with, and they are really targeting into a work-life balance. And that's where this great renegotiation is coming into picture. Because Great Resignation, as you said, yes, we have seen people hopping during this couple of years, here, there, everywhere you can find everyone. And now it is the Great Renegotiation, definitely because of the given fact that pandemic has taught us life, and we have to now live life, because we don't know what's going to happen next. Who's going to be there, we don't know. Who's not going to be there, we don't know. So just to live life and have a good, solid work-life balance, a flexibility, giving 100% productivity is a major renegotiation nowadays. So that's yes, and many companies are okay with the hybrid culture. Many of them, which companies, they have to have people on board to work. There is no choice. So that is something they might be facing some challenges with the talent pool right now, but they might be getting access to talent regional wise, country wise, given the hybrid model. So yes, renegotiation is there and we have to deal with it.
Right. So actually, I have a pop-up. So we have a question here from somebody. Speaking of the renegotiation, what if it's the best candidate for the company, but not much of renegotiation capacity the company has? So how would you still retain that person? How would you still want that person to join you?
Ideally, if the company is okay with the hybrid culture, and if the company is, obviously when it is coming to renegotiation, it has to be both the sides, right?
Absolutely.
If the employee is having a particular condition, there will be employer who would put up his conditions. So definitely there is an amicable understanding between both of them. And if it is really, really necessary that I need that talent, or any company needs that talent, then there has to be an amicable discussion to come across a conclusion to hire that candidate, be it even hybrid.
Right, absolutely. But do you think employee also can, in this case, take undue advantage of the renegotiation?
No, I wouldn't, and I would also, because it can give a 50-50% of chance. Now, again, Shivani, if I have to put it rightly, given the hybrid culture, the entire responsibility lies on the individual to give the productivity 100%. And that is what the employer is also counting on, that you would put up your 100%, which will definitely show up on your productivity.
Right.
So even if you try to, be a bit renegotiating, or you try to come up to a stage that, okay, fine, I'm giving in this much hours and I need this much things, then it is definitely something that calls in a discussion with the concerned organization, because everything cannot be accepted, but there are certain things that can be accepted. So
Right.
it needs to be, again, as I said, it has to be an amicable discussion and understanding of how this model is going to work, and only then carry forward with this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very well put. Thank you so much, Kavita. I'm sure if the viewer is watching us right now has his answers.
Mhm.
I do have a couple of more questions if we can take that up also.
Okay.
Someone has referred to you, speaking of, we are also moving into a freelancing phase now. So do you think being an HR freelancer is going to take over the future of a full-time HR, and how that shift is going to happen? Would it be good or would it not be good?
Okay, freelancing, if I have to say, Shivani, it's my perspective again.
Of course.
Freelancing is something that the person is capable of doing one particular thing or a couple of things. But the point in freelancing is, how much ever you try to get associated with the company, they might not give you the interim details that you really need to work on. There will be certain brackets, there will be certain pointers which only would be given to you all. But when it is coming to an HR who is already in-house, who knows the business vision, mission, who is knowing the values of the company and also is involved in strategy planning, knows the A to Z of that. So that can be only the, a thin line. It's a very thin one. It's not that it has, there will be a major thing, but I think each individual have their own skill set, and this thin line can definitely differ between a freelancer and an internal HR.
Probably depends.
I can answer that question.
Absolutely. I think it depends on project or case-to-case basis, if I may say so. Because every freelancing or full-time situation might not be the same. It could be completely different scenarios. Yes. Another question I have here is, a lot of millennials don't appreciate micromanagement. I think not just millennials, but none of us really appreciate micromanagement in general. So what is your take on review and appraisals, or the meetings that happen every week to check on what's happening? Do you recommend them to happen bi-weekly, quarterly? What would be the healthiest way to do that and still keep your team accountable?
That's a good question. Yeah, micromanagement is something that nobody would like, definitely. But given the fact that when the team is building up, there has to be a certain accountability given to each individual again. When it is coming to meetings and, having a understanding of how things would go further, or how is it, or where am I stuck up, or what can help me to do my job better. For this, if there is reviews that is happening, this is not a micromanagement. This is for the individual to have the access of having the ability to approach the people, to learn from the people, to know to have out-of-box ideas from other angles, because sometimes you are stuck up in your own angle. You just think in one angle and I'm like, okay, so this can be done this way. You never think the other way around. So might be when you're in a forum, say it weekly, your mind opens up. So you tend to just, think and evaluate yourself. It's not having weekly meetings. I would really appreciate that, because that opens up your mind, gives you a little flexibility in thinking, first of all, and to probably do a better productivity during the course of the week that you are supposed to do.
Absolutely. Next one is a bit tricky. Do you prefer, so when employers hire, do they give more importance to mindset over qualification post-pandemic?
Ideally, if I have to speak on this, both would go hand in hand because mindset is really necessary to take up the job that you have been hired for. And your qualification would definitely go with that because that is adding on to your skill set value. So without mindset, you cannot come in for a particular job. So you need to have both in parallel if you have to perform the activity that you are into.
So coming in with a very positive attitude that this is not just 9 to 5, but if you get an opportunity to contribute wherever else, it's only adding to your encyclopedia, if I may say so.
Exactly. You're just enhancing your own skill set.
Right.
There's nothing wrong when it is coming to, having a mindset, you're coming to a work and you come to know that you're having someone who's thinking about a particular aspect in a different way, you just get an insight to that it's perfectly fine. Yeah. So you need to have a positive mindset, definitely.
Absolutely. I think this we can relate to where you were explaining how the employees can upskill themselves to retain their position also. Maybe one of the good ways to be in the good books.
It's not only the good book, Shivani, it is for our career enhancement because each of us want a career enhancement, right? Even you don't want to suck up to what you are doing right now. None of us want to do. So it is like when you have to go up the ladder, you have to put up certain skill set. You have to take up extra qualification, extra knowledge. It's not necessary that you invest in big, colleges or big courses. Just join something like your HR success talk, so which gives a lot of knowledge, a lot of inputs, so this opens up the mind, this opens up the creativity thinking that, oh, this can be done this way also. So yes, definitely.
I think opens up a lot of opportunities also when we speak of learning, and learning is anyway a continuous process. I think since the day we are born and until we are gone, we are learning. So thank you for that. I have one last question for one of the viewers. Any training and development programs you would suggest which would help upskill IT companies and their employees?
Okay, now that's
very specific.
Very specific. Honestly, it is very specific. I would not be able to suggest any training per se. I'm sorry for that. Because until and unless you do not study the business needs of the company, suggesting any training makes no sense until and unless you know that training is given to a set of people who really needs that training.
Absolutely.
Because just suggesting any training, we have a lot of trainings.
Maybe skill development programs are common for all. I think despite of any industries,
Exactly, it is common. But then, Shivani, if you have to ask for a specific IT industry as the question has come up, then until and unless you do not know the needs of that particular segment, it's really difficult to suggest any trainings.
Thank you so much. I'm sure probably the viewer is going to get in touch with you to have in detail chat.
No problem.
Since we are coming towards the end of the session, as much as I don't want that to happen, and there's so much more to speak about keeping the right talent with you, how would you tell the freshers or every person out there in business about the keynote, or what are your key pointers that one should keep in mind, like an overall summary, if you can tell us?
Okay, so if I have to say, first of all, is we need to be really accountable for what we are doing. Have a right mindset and a right attitude to take up the job and execute that in a proper way. I would also suggest for a proper, transparent environment, culture that can enhance the employees to take up higher challenges, come up with any initiatives that they want to do, any suggestions they want to do. So until and unless you do not give that employee voice any recognition, it's going to be difficult. So that needs to be really, really transparent enough. There has to be defined strategies in place so that things can move accordingly rather than any layoffs or anything, because nowadays job security is something that each and everyone is looking for. So to keep that intact and also to keep the brand images intact, it becomes very necessary to have a detailed strategic plan in place so that can be revisited, like if required, revisited every quarter or every 6 months, depending upon the need of the organization. I think that would give a better perspective to retain more talent.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kavita. It was amazing to have you on board with us today to speak about the whole hire and fire scenario which is going on. I'm sure I have taken my insights, but I'm sure all our viewers have taken that too. But on behalf of our entire team, I'm thanking you for being here with us today. And possibly, I'd like to end this episode today with what Mr. Lawrence Bossidy had quoted. He says, I am convinced that nothing we do is more important than hiring and developing people. At the end of the day, you bet on people and not strategies. I think each of us relate to that. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, being with me and Kavita here to hear speak about a very interesting topic. We will see you soon in another upcoming episode of Edge. So please stay tuned. Drop your feedback on the comments. Tell us what more we could do. What would you like us to speak about? And once again, grateful that we have a wonderful HRST family supporting Edge. Thank you so much. I'm Shivani signing off. Cheers.